All right, guys, Proverbs chapter 12 today, looking at verse 1. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid. It's a verse about discipline, about being able to be disciplined by somebody else calling you out, somebody else correcting you when you're wrong. Now, according to the Bible, if you don't like it when people tell you you're wrong, if you hate that, if you can't stand being called on the carpet and you lash out at people, you're stupid. That's just what it says. You read it right there. It's very hard for us to see when we're wrong sometimes. Usually we've got a few things that we know we're wrong. We know that our mouth gets us in trouble. We know that we've got a temper. We know that we don't always tell the truth, and we're working on it, But sometimes we have blind spots where we can't see that we're doing wrong. And this is why you need people around you who can call you out, and sometimes they're doing it with the best intentions, and sometimes they're not. But you need to be able to learn from that, grow from that, and Solomon says even to love that, because you know that it's going to make you a better person, and it shows that you truly love knowledge. That is, you truly love wisdom, that good life. You really, really do want to do what's right. A great example in Scripture of somebody who had to get corrected was David. God said that David was a man after his own heart. He said that David followed him wholeheartedly his whole life. But David had some grievous sins, and David had to be called on the carpet a couple times. When he sinned with Bathsheba, he committed adultery with his friend's wife and tried to get his friend drunk so that his friend would go home and cover that up. And that didn't work, so he had his friend killed. And then he brought Bathsheba into his harem. It's a tragic, horrible story. And Nathan the prophet had to come and almost deceive David about the whole situation. You can read it on your own, 2 Samuel 11 and 12. And he ends up saying, "You are the man, David. You've got to get this right." And David responded. Also in 2 Samuel chapter 19, David had a cousin named Joab. Now, Joab was a piece of work. Joab was a violent man. He was an impulsive man. He played power games. He was not a godly person. But when David's son Absalom rebelled against him and drove him out of Jerusalem, and the whole army was fighting for David, Absalom is killed in this battle. And even though they won and the land has been restored and the rightful king is on the throne, David is weeping and mourning and won't come out of his room. And the whole army just gets sick to their stomach and sad because they just won the battle, but there's no glory in it. And Joab storms into his room and basically says, "You need to get a hold of yourself, David. You are shaming yourself in front of all these people." And he basically says, "If you don't get out there and claim that throne, I'm going to claim it." And David got up and did what he needed to do. He had good friends, and what made David such a great man was not that he never sinned, but that when he was confronted with his sin, he knew how to respond to it. That's what his son, Solomon, is talking about, that because he loved reproof and discipline, he truly loved knowledge and really wanted to do the right thing. You need to have people in your life that are able to speak that way to you. People who you will listen to when they correct you about your attitude or your behavior or your speech or whatever it is. We all need that. Now, this doesn't mean that you always have to take it anytime somebody's got a problem with you. It doesn't mean that when somebody's being vicious or when somebody's coming at you and they're out of line that you've got to just sit there and take it. Of course not. But you can't claim that every time somebody wants to get on you. If you drop the ball on something, if you're always late, if you're not doing good work, if you're speaking disrespectfully and somebody calls you on it, you can't just say, "You can't come at me like that. I don't want to listen to that. I'm not going to put up with you. I'm not going to listen to you." That's not godly. Right? You've got to be able to discern between those two things. Don't just surround yourself with people who are always going to be on your side. You do not always, or say you are not always on the right side. Therefore, you don't want people that are just going to be with you no matter what. Now, you can have people that support you, but somebody who really loves and supports you is going to call you out when you're wrong. And then they're going to stand with you as you pick up the pieces. But you can't just surround yourself with people that are just as immature or people that want your favor for some reason. They're just sycophants or they're just fair weather friends. You don't want that. You want somebody that can look you in the eye and tell you when you're out of line and when you're wrong, whether that's a pastor or a friend or a family member, a wife, a husband, brother, sister, parents, even your kids maybe. You need to make sure you are open enough with your friendships that you have people that can give you that kind of correction. Hebrews 12:11 says, "For the moment all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant, but later it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it." No one really likes to be called out. It's embarrassing. It's not fun. But if you truly want to be wise, that is, if you truly want to know how to live a good life, you've got to be able to receive that. And you've even got to grow to love those moments because you know that those are the moments that are going to make you better. They're going to help you grow as a person. And how you respond to correction determines, or doesn't really determine, it reveals who you are when it comes to the things of God. God bless you guys. Think about that one today. We'll see you later on.